Welcome to Oklahoma City, Oklahoma for the first round of the NCAA tournament as the Sun Belt Tournament Conference champion North Texas Mean Green take on from the Big 12, the Kansas State Wildcats. All part of the West region. This is Kevin Harlan alongside Dan Bonner. And Dan, walk us through a matchup that catches your eye here in our game between these two.
I think the point guard matchup is going to be key. Number 10 for North Texas, Josh White, their tough guy. And number 21 for Kansas State, Denny Clemente, one of the fastest guys you'll see.
And today's broadcast is being brought to you in HD TV by LG. Life is good. And our officials this afternoon, Mike Nance, Bob Donato, who has officiated 5 Final Fours, and Tim Kelly. And away we go from Oklahoma City. Frank Martin calls Denny Clemente the heart and the soul of this K-State team.
Man-to-man for North Texas.
That's Curtis Kelly inside. Trammell with the rebound. Running at the other end was Shorter. Clemente. This is a three. Right off the bat, he knocks in a home run.
Well, and that's what he does so well. He really shoots the ball well off the dribble. You'll note neither one of these teams' minds getting up and down. What a pass.
To pull, and it was indeed. Does he get it to go? The rebound is pulled back in by Tristan Thompson.
Very, very aggressive.
And he'll fly the other way, launching a three. Trammell couldn't get it. Luis Colon is there with the rebound for K-State.
K-State with a big advantage in terms of height and breadth on the inside.
Speaking of breath, these guards for K-State will take your breath away.
Yeah, they're pretty fast.
Colon.
See, very little that the Mean Green are going to be able to do there. They can't really afford to double team because Pullen and Clemente are such great shooters.
24-8 was the record for the Mean Green of North Texas, the former North Texas State, changing their name back in the 80s. White. Odufawa.
Odufawa is really good on the inside. Nice hands in there, good quick moves to the basket.
That's Dominique Sutton. Looking inside for Curtis Kelly. Odufawa gets the ball. White at the other end. Clemente will meet him defensively. Josh White is 5'10" from Baton Rouge.
Well, Josh White,
way inside.
He may be 5'10", but standing on a stool.
Yeah, that's right. A pretty high stool. As you take a look at the coach of the Mean Green, Johnny Jones, 48 years of age, played at LSU. And the Big 12 Coach of the Year, Frank Martin, in his 3rd season with the Kansas State Wildcats. Odufawa gets it back against Colon, and a foul called on Luis.
Now Frank Martin immediately gets Jamar Samuels up off the bench to come in. He doesn't like the way George Odufawa is operating any way he wants to inside.
These teams get to the free throw line quite a bit, don't they?
Well, they're really sort of mirror images of one another in terms of the way they play within their conferences. Kansas State obviously attacks the basket, and North Texas likes to attack the basket as well.
Odufawa was the 13th leading rebounder in college basketball. As our first substitution brings in Jamar Samuels. And checking out will be Curtis Kelly, the transfer from UConn.
Now Odufawa, you see his numbers there. He's very shifty on the inside. His best moves, though, are one dribble or less. So you got to force him away from the basket, make him dribble the ball a couple of times.
Pullen. And this is Samuels, a pretty important player in the scheme of things for K-State, and already he has heard from. He was the Big 12 6th man of the year.
It just goes to show you the K-State muscle on the inside. If you're not going to double team, they might just dominate.
Odufawa sends a screen and gets it back with the pick and roll. Pick and pop in this case. Colon was defending. What about the pace to begin this game?
Well, both teams, they don't, as I say, they don't mind getting up and down.
Here's Pullen, Clemente, Samuels. Dufour was defending, and Cologne got a hand on it and keeps it alive for the Wildcats.
Boy, it's not enough just to get in front of Cologne. You really got to put your backside into him and move him.
K-State has started 3 of 6. Dominique Sutton, he kind of connects this entire team.
Yeah, when he plays well, particularly when he scores well offensively, they are awfully tough.
Offensive foul was called inside. It was on Kansas State. And it goes on Samuels for the first time as you take a look at the things that make the Mean Green so interesting. A school of 36,000. They're not that far from Dallas, Texas.
Well, they're not that far from Dallas, and you think, okay, here K-State is playing one of the little guys. Well, Johnny Jones School is not one of the little guys. They're really a big school.
About 30 minutes from Dallas. They've won 11 consecutive games. The Mean Green has. It's the 3rd longest winning streak coming into the tournament in college basketball. Shannon Shorter. Trammell. Samuels on him.
Trammell is a guy who basically operates inside. It's going to be tough for him against the big guys from K-State.
And now getting there is Trammell. Dufour was rejected inside as they got a nice play from Kansas State. Rodney Magruder, who just checked in the game, was defending. Judge was there as well. And
well, Magruder got the first one and Judge got the foul on the second one, but a perfect example of the activity that Georgia Dufour shows on the inside.
So they've gone 3 deep so far in the Kansas State bench, and Dufour, the transfer from Arizona State, one of 21 players in all of college basketball to average a double-double, 11 points and 10 rebounds a game.
Again, he's very active around the basket.
Clemente and Samuels. Judge, the freshman, setting a screen on Shorter. Clemente puts up the 3. Dufour comes up with the loose ball. His 2nd rebound. And Shorter drives inside and punched back up and in by Trammell. He was the Sun Belt Conference Tournament MVP.
And he does his best work on the offensive boards, and you see how well he runs in transition. The Mean Green like to push when they get the opportunity.
There's the freshman Magruder. Pulling. Clemente is in the corner and out racing White to the rack. The speed of Pullen right there. But he couldn't get the deuce, and they come up as they dig it out. The Mean Green hands it. Thompson cradles it, and a timeout taken by North Texas. They lead by 1. It's a coach's timeout.
Some great work on the inside in transition by Trammell.
And Monday on CBS, see what happens when Sheldon gets a wicked case of stage fright and an all-new Big Bang Theory. That comes your way Monday, and it's on CBS. K-State, the highest seed for the Wildcats since seeding began in 1979. They're down by 1 right now against number 15 seed North Texas. You know, we talked to Frank Martin yesterday, and he wasn't like this. He's very intense during the game, but very relaxed away from the game and when they're not playing.
Well, he's trying to get his guys to play harder. So far, North Texas has been the more intense team.
Well, this might be as good a backcourt as you're going to find in college basketball. Pulling along with Clemente.
Well, Johnny Jones from North Texas told us yesterday that his biggest concern with this game was those 2 guys because of their tremendous speed. They each can get to the basket. They each can shoot the 3. They are guys that the late Jim Valvano used to call hard to guard, and he said you needed as many of those guys as you can get. And Kansas State has a couple of them.
Curtis Kelly is back in the game. There is Pullen, who's improved his shooting this season. Picked up by Shorter. Here is Kelly, the UConn transfer. Odufawa is defending and got it away, and picking up the foul is George Odufawa. And that is his first, and CBSSports.com is your destination for NCAA tournament coverage. Get real-time scoring, expert analysis, and video highlights from every game. It's all at CBSSports.com. And here is Kelly at the free throw line, the single-season block shot leader for the Wildcats. We told you he's a transfer. He's from the Bronx, New York.
And he really has a nice mid-range game. You can see there he's effective close to the basket, but out to 12 or 15 feet, he can shoot the ball pretty well. And George Adufua he's got one foul. They can't afford to have him in foul trouble, so he's going to have to play a little softly on the inside and look for Kansas State to try to take advantage.
Here's the junior out of Houston, Shannon Shorter. You don't want that dribble to stick, and that's what it's doing right now. It gives K-State a chance to get set on defense. Kelly will be watching Trammell. There's a quick foul on Kansas State with 14:27 to play here in the first, and Curtis Kelly will pick it up.
Now, Kelly called for a hand check, and you can see that neither team is really double teaming the post, so the offensive post guys have a lot of time to maneuver. Defenders have to move their feet and not play defense with their hands.
School record 24 wins this season for the Mean Green.
Well, the quickness of Kansas State is really disrupting what North Texas wants to do on offense.
White, Shorter, Adufua. Samuels on him. Trammell, we got inside presence on Kelly. K-State going right to the rack, and that is a foul. It's on the defense. It's on the Wildcats. Now Samuels was right there.
Now, North Texas wants to score close to the basket, and they're pretty effective at scoring close to the basket. This is an excellent pass, but great recovery by Kelly. And then Adufua comes in there, and he gets fouled that time. I think that's on Kelly.
Yep, Kelly picks up make it Samuels. Samuels picks up number 2.
Boy, Samuels so valuable coming off the bench. Don't want him in foul trouble.
Luis Colon, timeout taken by the Mean Green. Luis Colon had just checked in for Kansas State in our tie game. Wildcats have started 3 of 8. The Mean Green 3 of 11 here in Oklahoma City. April 8th to 11th, CBS Sports again proudly presents golf in its grandest glory. It can only be one place, a tradition unlike any other. The Masters from Augusta National. Trouble getting it in. Swarming defense by K-State. Trammell had it knocked away. That is a turnover, and it's by the Mean Green. You know, they have played a lot of Big 12 teams before. They have seen speed. Maybe not quite the speed of a Kansas State team, though.
Well, it's speed and it's strength, and it's not seen very often in this combination, even in the Big 12. You're right, Kevin. They lost at Oklahoma State to the Mean Green. They lost to Texas A&M.
Grinding move inside of Dominique Sutton. Works inside on Tristan Thompson. And Sutton now has put in his first 2 points this afternoon.
Sutton's a big kid, 6'5", about 220. And when he scores, this Kansas State offense is really tough.
And a terrific defender. Swarming defense by the Wildcats. White penetrates. The K-State right there to shut the door.
Kansas State's size on the inside really sort of eliminates the North Texas option of taking the ball to the basket.
Switch on defense now. They got Kelly on White. Colon. Nice swat away inside defensively by this taller Kansas State team.
So White can get in there, but it's awfully hard to do anything once he does. There's only 2 seconds on the shot clock. They got to shoot it.
Quick one right here, put up by Thompson. Picked up by Sutton. 5 blocks now for the Wildcats. Speed merchant Clemente.
Well, he was going so fast, Colon couldn't get out of the way.
He's almost too quick to call. Fred Martin could not say more about what Denny Clemente has meant to this team. And there's a foul, and it's away from the ball. It is down low with some shoving and positioning. That goes on Curtis Kelly for the 2nd time. And he is the second cousin is Clemente of Roberto Clemente, who wore number 21 with the Pittsburgh Pirates, and he wears number 21 to honor his second cousin. Clemente from Puerto Rico. New player coming in now is Martavius Irving.
Well, Shorter tries to get it to the basket, and again, just nothing doing going to the goal.
Look at the speed of Irving. Finally, they get it to go in with Curtis Kelly popping it back in for the Wildcats, who build their lead to 4. They've led by as many as 5 in the early stages of the game.
So far, the key factor in this game has been the Wildcats' size. You know, very quick out on the perimeter. They're making it tough out there, but their size, they just can't get anything going to the basket.
Shorter working his way into Irving. White fanning from outside. Here's Sutton again, who's all over the floor, and he was held as he was out of the box and off to the races. With 12 minutes to play in the first half and 8 minutes gone.
You know, we talk about the speed of Pullen and Clemente. Well, Irving here showing some speed himself, just gets the ball all the way down the court. Look at the big guys. In the transition, they run the court, and they are there on the offensive boards.
Here comes Cameron Spencer now in for the Mean Green. He'll take the place of Odufuwa.
Dufour has been working hard in there, but it is an uphill battle on the inside.
Suffocating, so much size in there for Kansas State against this particular team. Shorter on the defense. Luis Colon, who has started now 21 of the last 22 games for the Cats. Sutton fighting for his shot. Good looking rebound inside by Curtis Kelly as he climbs into the defense of Trammell.
Another offensive rebound, and Kansas State is a tremendous offensive rebounding team.
Trammell with the work inside. And a K-State foul. Kansas State 26-7. Big 12. They were 11-5 on the road. 13-4. They're on a 7-0 run right now. Kelly with some hard work inside the paint.
A pretty impressive list for one school's Jazz Studies program.
It's also the home of Mean Joe Green, the great Hall of Famer on the defensive line with the Pittsburgh Steelers. And many people think that they got that Mean Green from him, but that's not the case. It adds to the story. As Trammell is at the free throw line.
Well, Kevin, you never, ever want to let the facts get in the way of a good story.
Oh, that's our motto, right? It certainly is one of the stories for North Texas. From the Sun Belt, winning their first division title since joining the Sun Belt in 2000. They won the Western Division. And they've kind of hung their head on defense throughout the season.
They're a very good defensive team. They also get to the free throw line, and I think they're going to have to really work on getting to the line today. But have had a very difficult time with offense inside or on the perimeter.
Oh, the quick pull and takes it right down. Clemente resting on the bench and Irving in his place with Sutton out there. Judge on the floor. Luis Colon is the fifth Wildcat on the floor right now for Kansas State. Trammell picks up his second personal foul, and here is one of the most celebrated guards out of the Big 12. First team all Big 12. And K-State's leading scorer from Maywood, Illinois, Jacob Pullen.
And as you saw, he's really, really good attacking the basket.
And his shot has improved. He's worked hard on his shot. Most close to the program will tell you that has been a great source of pride with his game.
Now, we saw in our first game here, Jimmer Fredette, who had attempted 230 free throws coming into the tournament. This young man, 224 free throws coming into the tournament. So he's a guy who knows how to get to the line.
Seventh all-time leading scorer, Kansas State, is Jacob Pullen.
So this is a Kansas State defense that attacks. They attack you on offense. They attack you on defense. And when you leave Tristan Thompson open, he's a guy who can make you pay for it.
Knocks in the three, 38% from beyond the arc. He's number 8 all-time at North Texas in three-point shooting. Cologne got it. Into Spencer, who grabs the loose ball.
Spencer doesn't have the offensive capabilities of Trammell, but he may be a better matchup against those big bodies inside.
Tristan Thompson who just hit the three. Odufuwa is inside. Judge, the freshman, is on him. Oh, what a great spin move and a foul. Sometimes you see a move like that, you're trying to figure out how to defend, and the freshman Judge had a hard time with that, and Judge will pick up the foul for the Cats.
When you try to trap in the backcourt, here you have all 5 guys are along this line, and Tristan Thompson is behind the line. So when the double team comes, nobody is with Thompson. Thompson is an outstanding three-point shooter. Shoots better than 40% on the season. So if you're going to trap and not steal the ball, Thompson's going to be open and he can knock it down.
The finance major, Odufuwa, is at the free throw line. Transfer from Arizona State, as we mentioned. And here comes Clemente back in the game, taking the place of the freshman Irving. And North Texas in the conference, 13-5. 24-8 overall. We mentioned the 11 consecutive wins, the third longest winning streak in Division I coming into this tournament. Judge cleans it up, and here comes the lightning quick Clemente. Truly an extension of the coach. A long 3 by Pullen. Judge gobbles it up inside, surrounded by defenders. Judge again with the rebound and a foul on North Texas.
And I think they got Adufua, and if they did, that's 2 fouls. That'll be 2 fouls on Adufua, 2 fouls on Trammell. So the starting front line of the Mean Green really in trouble. And again, Kansas State just does such a great job pounding the boards. Adufua didn't block out. You saw he stepped away, but then he grabbed the arm on the rebound.
Adufua and Spencer on the floor. They've also brought in Colin Mangrum. Here is Clemente over Williams. Nice shot by Denny Clemente, who averages 16 points a game.
It's
Transfer
almost
from the University of Miami.
It's almost impossible to imagine how quickly he gets the ball up off the dribble.
How about the quick hands there? Pullen and looking for Sutton. And broken up on the play by Tristan Thompson. Look at Frank Martin from the Miami area. He came with Bob Huggins, took the place when Huggins went to West Virginia.
It's a nice job poking the ball away, and now he sort of decides in advance he's going to make that little behind-the-back pass. That's a play where his reputation is attacking the basket. He needed to attack.
Pullen, by the way, number 2 all-time steals at Kansas State. Mangrum is on him right now. Cologne will set the screen. Oh, look at him slither right inside. What a move by Pullen. And read the screen so well.
Boy, he sure did, and he darted just inside. Got up looking for the foul.
Wildcats have their biggest lead of 7 points right now. 9.5 to play in the first half. A lot of Wildcat fans inside our building here in downtown Oklahoma City this afternoon. Tristan Thompson and Pullen is on him.
Boy, look at this deny defense, just completely disrupting the Mean Green offense.
Clemente guarding White with the runner. Mangrum got a hand on it, and it's off of North Texas, the 15th seed.
We showed you the quickness on defense. The quickness on offense, he's going to go right in here, in between the screen and the defender. And that's, you know, Spencer there just didn't quick enough to stop that.
That's like a running back reading a hole in football, isn't
Absolutely.
it? And that's exactly what he did. He read it so well. Clemente. A lot of experience on this Kansas State team. Pullen. That was over Mangrum. Good looking rebound by Sutton. Cologne with the rebound. And Tristan Thompson will get the tie up with 8:42 to play here in the first half.
I am really impressed with the way Kansas State's inside guys, they run to rebounding position every time a shot goes up.
I like the way they run to the rim at the other end, too. Offensively, they're in position and they stake their claim.
They really do a nice job getting to the boards.
Cologne will sit.
We talked about the fact they're a great offensive rebounding team. 5th in the NCAA. They're on pace to have many more than 15 today.
They got 7 rebounds right now. Jordan Henriquez Roberts, a freshman from Port Chester, New York, has just checked in for the first time for the Wildcats. White hedging the defense is Enriquez Thomas. Enriquez Roberts inside. Well, Texas has gone 4 of 19 in shooting the ball.
Kevin, but you can understand why there's tremendous pressure in the backcourt with that quick Kansas State backcourt, so they can't get any open looks from outside. And then when North Texas is able to beat that defense on the perimeter, the big guys are inside just shutting everything off.
Here's Cameron Spencer at the free throw line, the transfer from SMU. He played a couple years there, 41 games for Matt Doherty, former Kansas assistant, and the coach at Notre Dame and North Carolina. In fact, this kid Spencer was the first recruit he had to SMU. He's transferred to North Texas. He's from Orange, Texas. Enriquez Roberts trying to find some room down low, as does Judge. Another tie-up inside.
Boy, nice job by Spencer inside. You put the ball down on the deck in there, somebody's going to come and get it. It looks like Judge may have hurt his hand.
He is in pain. The celebrated freshman Wally Judge from Washington, D.C., the McDonald's All-America. And a timeout with under 8 to play in the first. Well, North Texas is shooting 21%. Kansas State is on top 20-14. And Sutton and Pullen. Clemente. Dominique Sutton with a nice spin move inside as he works on the defense of Tristan Thompson.
What a great job by Clemente feeding the ball inside.
Great steal by Sutton. Mangrum will follow him in. And a foul. That'll be on Colin Mangrum, the sixth man on this North Texas team. And he picks up his first personal foul.
You know, Dominique Sutton does a really nice job stealing the ball. He gets smacked on the head there. But one of the things that people told us about Dominique Sutton was that he needs to get involved in the game early to have success. And he's had a couple of steals, a couple of baskets. So he looks like he's off and rolling for Kansas State. And generally when that happens, they are much more effective.
Sutton from Durham, North Carolina.
He's a tough matchup. You mentioned Tristan Thompson inside trying to guard him. Thompson, like Sutton, is 6'5", but Sutton outweighs him by 30 pounds.
Here's Jacob Holman in the game for the first time, a freshman from White House, Texas. For North Texas, Luis Colon will re-enter the game.
And Eric Trammell comes back in for North Texas, and he's got 2 fouls. I think Johnny Jones is just not comfortable with leaving Holman in there that long.
Curtis Kelly has come in for Henriquez Roberts. Here is Clemente. What an extension of his coach he is on the floor. Pull it. The athletic Sutton will take it inside. I mentioned he's a extension of his coach. There is a lot of Spanish spoken between a third-year coach, Frank Martin, and Clemente. That's how they communicate, in fact, sometimes during the game, too. And Luis Colon is in on that conversation. Under Frank Martin, they've won 21 games, 22 games, and 26 games this year. And is rewarded with a contract extension. Here comes White.
As he just gets in there and he gets swallowed up.
Mangrum. And Henriquez Roberts has it. Pull it. Second drive.
Boy, do those two guys complement one another or what? That was just a great job by Clemente looking down the court to find his backcourt running mate.
It's the biggest lead on a 10-1 run for the Wildcats at Kansas State. Their highest seed, number 2, and playing like it here this afternoon in Oklahoma City. Dufour has 6 points, but a couple fouls to contend with. Pullen's got 6 points for Kansas State. He averages 19 a game.
When you see that 4 of 20 shooting, 1 for 6 beyond the arc, Kansas State has been able to dominate on the perimeter with their quickness and on the inside with their size. And North Texas only 2 timeouts remaining in the game. They've had to call timeouts to try to get themselves organized.
White and Trammell on the floor. Mangrum out there as well. Tristan Thompson with the move. And into the defense of Dominique Sutton, the junior. That's a foul on Dominique Sutton. And that is the second on him.
Boy, again, Kansas State comes with the trap, and that time Tristan Thompson wasn't open. Henriquez Roberts made it very difficult for him to try to shoot that 3. But North Texas, we showed you, they're number 5 in the country in free throws attempted, so they're not any strangers to attacking the basket.
I mentioned this was a very experienced Kansas State team. Clemente and Pullen, Sutton, Kelly, Colon. I mean, combined, they've got 357 career starts.
And generally in college basketball, particularly in tournament play, that kind of experience is the formula for success.
Huge. Henriquez Roberts. Sutton picked up by Tristan Thompson. White is on Clemente. And approaching 6 minutes to play here in the first half. Luis Colon. Henriquez Roberts with the left hand inside and snared away by Spencer. Thompson, Trammell with the screen. And cleaned up by Henriquez Roberts. Flying the other way, Pullen. They can't keep up with his speed.
No, he can really go, can he?
Wonderful play. Wonderful play.
Great job in transition. Sometimes in transition you have to hang on to the ball rather than try to pass it, and he recognized that there was nobody open ahead of him. He just kept the ball. Nobody stopped him.
Then they get going. They're a great offensive team. In the 3 years that Frank Martin has been in Manhattan and top of this Kansas State program, their numbers have broken records every year. Roberts looks inside. Henriquez Roberts swats it away. And picked up by Clemente. Into Mangrum. Off to Sutton. 8 points for Sutton. Clemente setting it up, in the speed of the Wildcats in high gear now. A 14-3 run by Kansas State.
And Henriquez Roberts has actually been a factor. His size has really bothered the Mean Green.
And Kelly's on the bench. And here is a play inside where Spencer was going in hard. And watch this play and the speed with which it is pulled off by the Wildcats.
Well, they can get out and go. Now here's Jacob Pullen. He doesn't see anybody open, so he takes it all the way to the basket. Then defensively, Henriquez Roberts blocks the ball and controls it, and then Clemente. This showed you he caught that pass from Clemente. It was a great pass, but Clemente can't throw it unless Sutton hustles down the court in transition.
Sutton's going to sit. Magruder, the freshman from Washington, D.C., is going to check back in the game for Kansas State. His second appearance out there with Clemente, Henriquez Roberts, Pullen, and Luis Colon. Up high there, and Henriquez Roberts tapped up and in with the left hand by Luis Colon. And he's got 4. The big man dominating inside against the smaller North Texas team. That's a travel. Well, North Texas has just 1 field goal, Dan, in the last 11.5 minutes of the game.
Well, the big part of their game, Kevin, is they get field goals driving the ball to the basket, and that part of their offense has just been completely stymied. They can't get to the goal against this big Kansas State team.
This is a mid-major team, and they've got pretty good size for a mid-major, but against a team like Kansas State, the 7th-ranked team in college basketball coming into the tournament, along with their number 2 seed, it's tough to contend with.
Well, having size doesn't necessarily mean your guards can get to the basket against a taller opponent.
Screen by Colon. Spencer on the switch defensively. Henriquez Roberts. Shot clock down to 5. Pullen in the face of Shorter. Guard! Jacob Pullen has caught fire here as we wind down the first half. He's got 11 points and a 3 to boot. Here's Tristan Thompson.
That's a tough shot. That was under duress.
From Arlington, Texas, averages 14 points a game. He's over 1,000 points in his terrific career with the Mean Green.
Now, the Mean Green have to dig in here defensively. Particularly, they got to do a better job blocking out.
Here is Pullen, Shorter defending on the play. Good-looking rebound by Magruder.
That's exactly what we're talking about. When they get a stop, K-State has been very good at securing the offensive rebound.
And the second-chance points are always big, especially with the team with the kind of size of Kansas State. Under 3 to play here in the first half. Good screen by Henriquez Roberts, slowing down the defense, and Pullen finds his open teammate Clemente. Rebound pulled down by Shorter. Out of bounds. The backcourt has been terrific for the Wildcats, combining for 15 points. And Pullen here with the sweet stroke outside for K-State. And coming up on the AT&T at the half, Greg Gumbel and Greg Anthony, along with our Seth Davis, will take a look at all the different games going on in the tournament. Live action in this great tournament. Here is Pullen, the great speed of Kansas State, taking advantage of North Texas.
When we talked to Johnny Jones, the North Texas coach, yesterday, he told us that his biggest worry was the speed of Kansas State. You can certainly see why. With Clemente out leading the fast break, he's got 4 assists. With Pullen finishing, he's got 11 points. This backcourt has just been really, really good. Plus, Kansas State doing a great job on the boards. Their inside players have been dominant, and their quickness has just shut off North Texas's offense completely.
Enriquez Roberts stays in the contest. Also out there is Pullen. Here's Clemente. Curtis Kelly comes back in the game too for the Wildcats, and Rodney McGruder stays in for Kansas State. Kelly, a pretty important player for this Wildcat team.
Yeah, he is. I don't know that his talent will be necessary today.
Exactly, good point.
But he's really got to, I think, to play well if Kansas State is going to advance on a deep run.
Did you see the pass by Pullen? Trammell getting the rebound. Well, you're right on your point.
It's a great pass by Pullen. Kelly didn't handle it cleanly, though.
Drive by Thompson. Pullen was trying to work inside defensively and pulls up his first personal foul.
Pullen with a great pass on the inside, but you got to give Trammell some credit there. I think he got his hand on the ball. He wasn't fooled by that pass.
So here is Tristan Thompson at the free throw line from Arlington. All Sun Belt third-team player. 1,000-point score in his career and averaging 14 points a game. As you see the numbers from the line for both North Texas and K-State.
Flips that ball back from one hand to the other. You don't often see that on a free throw. But he's an 81% free throw shooter, so you certainly don't want to change that mechanic.
He's a good one and a good three-point shooter as well, 41%.
Now, for all we've been talking about and as dominant as Kansas State has seemed in this first half, Kevin, it's only a 12-point game.
Surprisingly. Biggest lead for K-State has been 17 here in the first half. White sticking with Clemente from way outside. Great shot by Denny Clemente.
You know, you can't guard that. You just have to hope that he doesn't make the shot.
Clemente now with 8. Pullen's got 11. Sutton's got 8 as well on the bench right now for the Wildcats. And Pullen picks up his second personal foul.
Denny Clemente, first he's in traffic and then he's out of traffic, and he keeps stepping back, and then he finally pulls up and shoots the three. I mean, you can't guard that. You just have to hope that he doesn't make the shot.
Well, I mentioned before, in the 3 years that Frank Martin has been the head coach at Kansas State, we've seen terrific offense like this last season. Most total points, second highest scoring average, fourth most threes canned, and a record number of free throws attempted and made for Martin's Cats.
It's the attacking style, but free throws in this game today are what it's keeping North Texas in the game.
And Thompson. Thompson has 9 of his 11 points for North Texas. Roberts trying to set a screen, and North Texas fought through it pretty good. Alzy Williams is coming right now at the guard position for the Mean Green. Clemente approaching a minute to play in the first half. Clemente on the fly. What a stroke. What a stroke for Clemente. His third triple in the game.
Again, he just keeps that dribble, and Josh White, I think, went for a steal out way far away from the basket, and that gave Clemente a little bit of room, and that's all he needs.
Here's McGruder trying to defend on the wing and does a good job of it. Williams, a freshman from Dallas, throws it away for North Texas. 38 seconds to play here in the first half.
Time.
Well, you want to step back here and survey what you've seen in the first half?
Well, Frank Martin's going to call the timeout, that use it or lose it timeout that he has. I'm really impressed with their size and their quickness and their shooting ability.
Wow. Speed, huh? They're a blur. Clemente and McGruder. Enriquez Roberts with a little screen right there. Pullen is in. Pullen and Clemente have combined for 22 points in the first half. Clemente way outside, saw that shot clock winding down. Pullen with the steal, beating the buzzer. Good if it goes. And just shy. So Kansas State shoots 47%. They knock down 4 threes. And the number 2 seeded Wildcats, with their highest seed since seeding began back in 1979, lead at 41-25 at halftime. That's the end of the first half. Greg Gumbel is on deck with the AT&T at the half. A message from your local station. Then Well, go to New York. You're watching CBS's exclusive coverage of the NCAA tournament. And we're underway here in Oklahoma City. White. Shorter. Clemente is on Josh White. Sneaking it inside, Trammell.
And that's one of the things that North Texas has to do to get back in this game. Figure out a way to score inside.
Jacob Pullen pulls up for a three. He's got 14.
Well, they've had no answer for him that time. He didn't utilize his quickness. He just came off the screen and shot the ball.
And on the fly, good looking shot right there by Tristan Thompson. Pullen again. This time he'll take it inside after hitting that three-point shot. And hit on the play. 19:16 to play here in the second half. Foul goes on Shorter for the first time.
We've talked about the speed of Kansas State, and you saw it there. Even though North Texas was able to score, K-State just pushes the ball up the court very quickly. You got to turn around and guard these guys.
Pullen with 14. The 15 right there.
Frank Martin doesn't look like he's enjoying himself, but as a coach, you have to enjoy the luxury of having two guards who can play and score the way these two guys can.
Cologne comes up with the loose ball. Thompson is on Clemente.
Sutton had a really good first half. He had 8 points and 4 rebounds, and that's the kind of activity that K-State's looking for.
Curtis Kelly wheels inside. The front line of Kansas State has been too big and too strong for the North Texas front line this afternoon.
And for the most part, that's without Kelly. He only played 8 minutes in that first half because of some foul problems.
And Shorter works on Dominique Sutton, who picks up the Kansas State foul. Sutton is tagged with his third right there. Jacob Pullen has hit a three since we have started our second half here in Oklahoma City. White has to chase in the inbound pass. At halftime, Kansas State had 20 more points in the paint. They're +7 in points off turnovers, +9 in fast break points. The size up front too much and the speed in the backcourt too much for North Texas so far.
The combination of size and speed has just been a puzzle that the Mean Green haven't been able to solve.
Adufua inside. Sutton, who just picked up his third foul, into White, and he is fouled in return at the other end of the floor with about 2 minutes gone here in the second half. And now the in-game box score powered by CBS College Sports. Watch CBS College Sports Network's continuing coverage of the NCAA tournament.
The numbers there very impressive, dominated by the backcourt. Adufua and Trammell have had decent games for North Texas, but they've been saddled with foul trouble, so they didn't play a whole lot either in the first half.
We talked about how important Sutton is for Kansas State Big 12 tournament. Baylor was the opponent, 14 points and 14 rebounds back on the 12th of March.
He does not average in double figures, but he is certainly a guy capable of getting double figures anytime he steps on the floor, and that just enhances the K-State attack.
Chris Merriweather, a senior from Jacksonville, will come out, and there goes Sutton to the bench. So Merriweather is out there for the first time this afternoon. Sutton is on the floor. Luis Cologne remains, and Curtis Kelly, along with Denny Clemente.
Well, Clemente has just really dominated this matchup with Josh White. He's been able to stay with him and prevent White from shooting the ball from the perimeter.
Look at the little trapping going on right there, and the mobile Curtis Kelly was reaching in and trying to stay with the much quicker Tristan Thompson. Kelly picks up his third personal foul, and
Kelly would have been well advised to use that mobility that you're talking about rather than reach in with his hands and get called for his third foul.
Samuels will come back in the game.
See, the problem is when you do that, you got to go over the bench and walk right by your coach.
Yeah, and that is not good. And a little move inside. Trammell out of Shreveport tries to work his way in. We just received word that Frank Martin has now been selected as one of the 4 finalists for the Naismith Coach of the Year award. He's already won the Big 12 Coach of the Year award. So another one coming his way. And at the free throw line is Eric Trammell, only senior starter on this Mean Green team. 17:52 to play here in the second half, and we saw a thrilling double overtime BYU win over Florida. Now the Cougars will take on the winner of this one. Trammell.
Trammell's been very productive in his time on the court. He's been able to get to the free throw line, and that's been the best offense for North Texas.
The slashing Clemente. 5 of 7 from the field. He's got 13. Pullen's got 15.
Now, North Texas is a very good defensive team, and Shorter is a very good defensive player, but how do you keep that guy in front?
I don't know how any team does with that speed.
He's so quick.
You know the importance of guards in tournament time. Shorter. Out of bounds off Kansas State, and 14 seconds on the shot clock for the Mean Green with which to work.
You know, we've seen Clemente back up and shoot the three, so you have to respect that. And he just puts it down and goes right by Shorter. Shorter, you know, was sort of standing straight up, and by the time he got down in his defensive stance, Clemente was gone. And now, Clemente, I guess he does everything else. He's going to go mop the floor. You know, that's the definition. A point guard does what his team needs.
He is one of the top transfers in the history of the Kansas State program. 1,000 points in 2 years. Think of that. Mitch Richmond did that last time, transferring, and played a couple years in Manhattan. Dufour. Cologne will meet him. That was an athletic shot, and Merriweather there to clean it up for the Wildcats.
Yeah, but the size inside really bothered that.
Clemente fouled out on the perimeter, and he will go.
That's Shorter again. He's just, I mean, he's this big, strong kid. 6'4", 200 pounds. He's a really solid defender out on the wing for North Texas, but he's just not fast enough to stay with Clemente.
Wally Judge has checked in. There is Luis, who will take a breather on the Frank Martin bench. And that's Judge and Pullen out there.
And that's another thing that's been pretty impressive today. Frank Martin, one big guy goes out and another quality big guy comes in.
You remember up in Omaha when they took on USC the last time they were in the tournament with Michael Beasley in foul trouble, how deftly Martin was moving players in and out to cover up the foul problems of Beasley. I didn't really have that problem today, but it was so effective. Then Bill Walker, remember, had the good game against SC. Here is Samuels over Thompson. That's a long two. White the rebound. Nice dive inside. Shannon Shorter, the junior out of Houston, a Paris Junior College transfer. Judge. Pretty play. That kid's got great skills.
He really does. He's so smooth with that little turnaround jump shot. That gives you some idea of the depth, the quality depth possessed by Kansas State, that they can bring a guy like that off the bench.
First two for Judge. Nice interception by Pullen. Samuels, Clemente, the early release at the other end. He's got 15. Pullen and Clemente have combined for 30 points for the Wildcats.
And Clemente got that shot off very quickly. You're right, Kevin. The early release, he saw the defense coming, and he got that floater off right away.
I like the IQ of Clemente. He reads things very well. He can read a rebound, how much it's going to clank off the iron, and when to release and when to stick. And White gets it in tight. And Dufour puts it in for North Texas. White now has 8.
White still hadn't scored in the game, though.
Nice rebound pulled down by the Cats, and Jamar Samuels right there averages 5 rebounds a game. He's the third leading rebounder for Kansas State. Clemente, Samuels, and he's picked up by Trammell.
Boy, Samuels had a lane to the basket and passed it up, and as a result, he's going to draw an offensive foul.
How about Denny Clemente? He's doing everything in the game this afternoon. Scoring points, releasing early, playing D, and even mopping the floor. The all-purpose man for Kansas State University. North Texas won their division in the Sun Belt. Josh White, nice defense by Clemente to come out and knock that ball away with the deflection on the close.
Well, he just, I mean, Josh White has really struggled today. He's 0 for 6 now shooting the basketball.
He's a 1,000-point scorer. And, you know, he's had some good games against Big 12 teams over his career.
Oh, there's no question about that. But the combination, Kevin, you've been talking about it, of size and speed, just too much for White. They've dominated that matchup.
Little Trammell dance inside. Count it. And a foul. With Samuels inside and Judge, Merriweather, and Clemente out there.
Well, again, if they're going to get back in the game, I think they have to do it on the inside, because Kansas State, as you saw, they're not coming to double team, so Trammell has some time to operate in there.
Artavius Irving is the other player out there for K-State. Samuels coming out, and Henriquez Roberts. Samuels picked up his 4th foul. Jordan Henriquez Roberts will check in. Henriquez Roberts did not play that much in the Big 12 tournament.
Well,
he's seen a lot of minutes today.
Yeah, I think it's because Samuels is in foul trouble. You know, Samuels is usually a big contributor. He's only got 2 points in the game and 4 fouls.
Here's the former walk-on Merriweather. Irving, slippery inside with a nice move.
He has slithered in there a couple of times. You know, we talked about their depth up front. Well, they've got some pretty good depth in the backcourt as well.
Irving is first 2. White and Clemente defends. It's a long 2. Ooh. Clemente 3-on-2. Judge. Oh, how about the big man with the spin? Oh! Ooh, Merriweather. And there was no cushion there at all. I mean, it was a flat fall. I mean, it's the thud that you could feel over here and certainly here. White picked up his 2nd foul, and then boom.
Wow.
He's going to check out. Irving will come back in. Joining Judge. Magruder is in the game. Henriquez Roberts remains. A couple freshmen out there for, look at that little scoop. Mangrum gets it.
That looked like a Fredette shot.
Magruder's a freshman. Henriquez Roberts is a freshman. On the floor for the Cats. Wally Judge is a freshman, so 3 of them out there right now for Kansas State.
Obviously, if you're going to get back in the game, you need some stops.
4 of them out there. Magruder, Judge, Henriquez Roberts, Irving, all freshmen for Coach Frank Martin. Clemente working on his shot. Irving just about had a hand on it. They continue to fight inside, and Magruder was over there signaling for a timeout, and that's exactly what he got as the clock is at 13:09. This freshman aggressively going for the loose ball.
They're going for the loose ball. They're diving on the court. They're up 18, so that's what a coach likes to see. Great hustle out there.
Earning their minutes. New to the program. His memory, a great friend of CBS and all of college athletics. Irving. Defense by Thompson, chased down by Henriquez Roberts, and keeps it alive. Good hustle by the freshman again, Clemente. Magruder for 3. Good. Continuing the trend, he puts in his first 3. K-State is plus 12 points beyond the arc today. Trammell with a 3. Henriquez Roberts gobbles it up. He's got 5 rebounds. And seeing some good minutes here this afternoon. Wally Judge, his freshman partner on that front line for the Wildcats.
Kansas State has done a great job passing the ball all afternoon. Clemente takes the ball inside, draws the defense, kicks it out for the 3. That's a classic point guard play. And you have to respect Clemente's quickness, and the defense has to collapse on him. If you can get a guy who can spot up and shoot it, you're in pretty good shape.
Clemente with his 5th assist. Trammell just picked up his 3rd foul. Clemente is going to sit out. Here comes Jacob Pullen back in the game. By the way, Clemente and Pullen, not a single turnover between them. As Jordan Henriquez Roberts. He played some high school basketball with Curtis Kelly and Edgar Sosa, who plays at Louisville. Kemba Walker at UConn, the celebrated high school team. Luis Colon is back in. Biggest lead right now for the Wildcats.
Well, you just got to keep plugging away if you're North Texas State. defense has been extremely stifling here for Kansas State.
And Tristan Thompson. Rudy Fama. Oh, Pullen came down hard, and you can.
Well, you could hear that one too.
Oh man,
right on his tailbone.
That's a second Wildcat to hit it hard.
Boy, sure hope he's okay. That can be a very, very painful injury. Oh my.
And even if it isn't tough to handle right now, think about what it'll be like tomorrow morning.
Absolutely. Adufawar is able to get that rebound, but it's swatted out of there. And Pullen still hustling after the ball.
He was a tough kid, Mr. Jacob Pullen.
Yeah, but he landed right on his tailbone. Yep. Oh my.
It reminded me a bit of what happened to Evan Turner with Ohio State back in December. Turner landing on the flat of his lower back. And it looked like Pullen maybe got the side just a bit. Nonetheless, every bit as painful.
Now, Kevin, your point, though, is a very good one. He's obviously able to get up and walk off now, but what's it going to feel like tomorrow, and what's it going to feel like on Saturday?
Clemente. White defends. Judge battling Trammell, and comes up with his own miss. What a great sequence by the freshman Wally Judge.
You know, he missed the shot, but that pass from Clemente was such a good pass. Judge, he had such an advantage on the inside that even though he missed it, he was in great position for the rebound.
Judge now with 4 points and 5 rebounds. Mangrum. Josh White for the triple. Fighting inside. Looked like maybe Judge was climbing the back of Trammell. Pullen continues to get some assistance on that Kansas State bench. A key cog with this very good K-State team. It's gone back to the locker room. We'll show you that footage in just a second. As Trammell could not get it. Just seconds ago, this was the fall taken by Jacob Pullen.
And landed right on his tailbone, and with the big lead and 11 minutes left in the game, he's walking off.
Clemente and Pullen combining for 11 of 22 from the field. 30 points, 6 assists, no turnovers. Cologne. How about that with a deft move inside by the big man, Luis Cologne. Mangrum, who played the last time. Oh, and he comes down hard with a Cologne defensive move inside, and Cologne will pick up the foul. With 10:54 to play, Cologne picks up number 3.
Kansas State has dominated the inside defensively, and offensively they've gotten a couple of opportunities here. They're just too big inside, and that's actually a nice move by Cologne. And here Colin Mangrum going to the basket. He goes down hard too.
He's in his second NCAA tournament game, the first North Texas player ever to play in 2 NCAA games. He played a minute back in 07, the last time they were in it. And stands up there right now. Colin Mangrum from Howe, Texas, junior. We just heard that Pullen has a elbow contusion, which is a deep bruise, but it looked like it was on the flat of his back, and we'll try to get more on that story before we leave the air. Merriweather is back in, former walk-on, academic, all Big 12, and a great move by Judge across the lane. He has 6. Looking terrific. Judge averages only 3 points a game.
Well, he's had to play more because of foul trouble along the front line, but he's been very, very impressive.
And that one goes whistling through the hands of Luis Cologne off the fingertips of Clemente.
And Frank Martin a little bit disgusted with that. Clemente gets him a pass in position where he's going to have an easy basket if he just catches the ball. Your big guys need to catch it.
That's the first turnover by a K-State guard today.
I think if I were charging the turnover, I would charge it to Cologne. He should have caught that ball.
I agree. The pass was there. Mangrum for 3. Good looking shot by Colin Mangrum.
Haven't really had many opportunities that open. The Kansas State defense has been rather good today.
Irvin. Cologne. Merriweather. Guarded by Mangrum, whose dad played football in the NFL with the Philadelphia Eagles. He was a quarterback for the Eagles. Denny Clemente.
He's put on a very impressive display. His speed has been evident. Also his ability to shoot the ball from a great distance and to shoot the ball quickly. You saw him shoot it in the half court. You saw him shoot it in transition. You saw him mop up the floor.
School record 26 wins for the Wildcats. Judge Fanning right there. They're in second place tie in the Big 12. Runner-up in the Big 12 tournament. White diving inside.
And that's his first basket of the game. The Mean Green's leading scorer, averaging almost 15 points a game. That's his first bucket.
Against Big 12 teams over his career, he's averaged 19 points a game.
Well, when you do that, you sort of lose the element of surprise, Kevin, and he certainly hadn't had it today.
Clemente,
he walked.
He did. Here's another look at Josh White, smallest guy on the floor at 5'10".
Well, at 5'10", I don't know that he's 5'10". He's a little shorter than that, but he does a nice job getting the ball to the basket. Tremendous pressure, though, both from underneath and above. There you get a look at his numbers. This is one tough kid, and he is a big reason why North Texas is even here. He's just had a very tough game today against tremendous defensive pressure. K-State now dropping back into his zone.
Enriquez Roberts with Cologne down low. Sutton grabbing the loose ball. Sutton today, 9 points and 6 rebounds. He averages 7 and 6, 7 points and 6 boards.
That's an offensive foul on Cologne. Handed off the ball and screened.
4 fouls. K-State had that tough loss at Kansas, and then they lost at home in overtime to Iowa State. And so the Big 12 tournament was used by Frank Martin to get his team on track. They played 3 terrific games in Kansas City, and Frank felt so proud of the way his team came back from those tough losses and got themselves back on track.
And the interesting thing that he told us yesterday was, after that loss in the Big 12 championship game to Kansas, when they invested so much in that, and they were so disappointed, and he told them in the locker room after the game, he said, hey, I know you're really disappointed right now, but on Sunday, when it comes up and you're the number 2 seed, you'll feel really good about yourselves. And of course, that's exactly what happened.
And I think that impressed the committee. This is one of those times where the committee was really looking hard at what these teams were doing in the postseason. As Clemente picked up his first, Kelly comes in for Luis Cologne. So it's Sutton and Curtis Kelly and Henriquez Roberts.
But your point is really a good one, Kevin. Despite the fact that they lost in the Big 12 championship game, this is a Kansas State squad that comes into the NCAA tournament playing very well. And we've seen that today.
Magruder along with Clemente comprise the guards for K-State. That rounds out the 5 on the floor. Mangrum out there. Adufo was out there. Trammell, White, along with Thompson. Well, tonight here in Oklahoma City, we're about a 5-hour drive from Kansas City, so there's a lot of KU and K-State fans here. We go into the second part of our evening, an 8-9 matchup, UNLV and Northern Iowa. That should be a good one with Lon Kruger coaching UNLV, a former K-State coach, and the number 1 overall seed, the Kansas Jayhawks, will battle 16th seed Lehigh from the Patriot Conference. Trammell inside. Nice knockaway inside by Henriquez Roberts.
Well, we've got guys all over the place here in the second half.
Is that Trammell down? Nope, I'll take it. It's Tristan Thompson down. Kansas State has 9 blocks this afternoon.
Well, it's just been very difficult to get anything around the rim. And that was an inadvertent elbow. It looks like he got hit in the Adams there.
Yeah, you're sure right, Dan. And inadvertent is the right word to use. Now he's giving himself a little bit of buffer there, but it caught him right in the throat. That's what K-State has done today. They've grabbed him by the throat and played a solid game in so many ways. We've heard so much about the Kansas State guards, but it's the big men who have been nice today. Now, granted, they're going up against a smaller line, but they've shown themselves well.
Well, they certainly have, Kevin, and the main thing that they have done is they have prevented North Texas from implementing a very important part of their offense, and that is taking the ball and scoring at the basket. Those 9 blocked shots, and then, we haven't kept track of, because I think there are too many to keep track of. The number of times they made them change their shots, the intimidation factor.
That's a very good point.
Now they're dropped back into the zone defense. It's a 1-2-2 zone look.
North Texas had 4 players named to the Sun Belt Conference teams. That was a school record. White wheeling around. That's a foul. Looks like it will go on Martavius Irving. First on him. We got a timeout and 7:45 to play. Greg, thank you very much. We have had a day of some interesting games. In fact, as interesting a first couple hours of the tournament that I can recall.
That really was interesting, and one of the games where the lower seed didn't pull the upset was Robert Morris and Villanova. That was an overtime game that Villanova just barely eked out.
Kansas State plus 24 points in the paint, plus 9 points beyond the three-point arc. They're shooting 50% from the floor, helped by Jacob Pullen, who left the floor, went to the locker room, back out now, as you can see, falling hard on his lower back and his elbow. 15 points for Pullen, 15 points for Denny Clemente. Curtis Kelly is back out there. And Nick Russell, a freshman from Duncanville, Texas, has taken the floor for the first time this afternoon for K-State. Enriquez Roberts remains. Russell on the floor. Kelly. Here's Dominique Sutton. Knocked away nicely by Trammell. Tristan Thompson splitting the defense and using the glass. And he comes up with 2 and give him 18 for the game. Thompson averages 14 a game for the Mean Green.
Well, he's really put on a nice offensive display. He's knocked down a couple of three-point shots, made some tough floaters in the lane.
Sutton. Kelly working inside on Dufo. Kelly's got a nice series of moves inside.
He's a very, very skilled offensive player.
Here's what we were talking about before, the interesting opening moments of this tournament.
Yeah, that Vandy Robert Morris game, or excuse me, Villanova Robert Morris game, an overtime game. Our game here, BYU and Florida, double overtime.
Here's the UConn transfer. Curtis Kelly at the line. Enriquez Roberts will sit while he judges back out on the floor. Sometimes, you know, there's a fit that you think initially when you commit to his school, as Curtis Kelly thought about UConn would be there, but then he found out there are a lot of guys above him. A lot of guys playing that same position.
Playing the same position and very similar skills.
Zone, huh?
Well, they've been in this zone for the last couple of minutes.
This is Mangrum for 3. And off the fingertips of Judge. Was it last touched by Adifua? Nope. K-State the last to touch it. 6:45 to play in our first half, in our second half here in Oklahoma City. Looks like the Wildcats are going to be getting ready for that terrific team out of the Mountain West Conference, the Cougars of Brigham Young. Adifua was spoon-fed inside.
Well,
he's fighting away inside, isn't he?
Yeah, he just hasn't had the game that North Texas needed to have inside. It's not that he hasn't played hard. He really has. He's hustled. He continues to be very active inside, but the tremendous length of the Kansas State inside players have really bothered him today.
That's a good point. Russell picks up his first personal foul for Kansas State. You just had a nice view of Johnny Jones. He's an interesting guy. He played at LSU in the early 80s. One of his teammates, the great Rudy Macklin, a former assistant at Alabama, an assistant at LSU for 10 years, was the associate head coach for 3 years at LSU, went to Memphis, was there a couple of years, Alabama a year, now in his 9th season with this North Texas Mean Green program. They came into this tournament with 11 consecutive wins, a Sun Belt tournament championship in their pocket as they beat Troy by 3. A lot of pride on this team. Mid-majors, of course, sometimes don't thrive, some do, some don't. A lot of pride on this North Texas team as Thompson tries to penetrate, and that is a defensive foul. That's going to go on Wally Judge.
Brian, we have guys on the court again, and the play has been very physical all day long. These are two teams that like to attack the basket, so you would expect that the play would get physical. There's Pullen going down. Tristan Thompson going down. The guys have really, really battled hard. That's Chris Merriweather. He hadn't been back in the game since that fall.
And Saw the Merriweather play. Jim Kimmons down there taking it hard, but Jim's done a terrific job shooting a lot of action underneath that basket in particular this afternoon. And
that's the wrong basket. It's Kevin Rogers.
Oh, that's right.
Clemente went in his lap.
Clemente. Russell. And Curtis Kelly.
Kelly has not really played very many minutes, so he needs to get some time, sort of get his feet wet in this NCAA tournament.
Clemente, 6 of 11. 5 assists. Single turnover over Mangrum.
That's a good block out that time by Trammell.
And Trammell grabs the rebound. He now has 7. Gilligan shot outside. Tristan Thompson knocks it in, and Thompson now has a mean green high of 23, and he's hit a bunch of threes. 3 of them from beyond the arc. 5.5 to play. Things tightening up just a little bit here in Oklahoma City. NCAA March Madness on Demand is streaming every game from the NCAA Championship online for free. Watch any game from the tournament live at ncaa.com. A 15-3 run by Kansas State. By North Texas, excuse me. North Texas with that big run. Curtis Kelly with a great spin move inside on a Dufalo.
And that run is enough to... Boy, North Texas just threw that one away. Nobody looking at the ball. That run is enough to get Jacob Pullen back in the game.
With Clemente is running mate in the ball, and
oh boy,
Frank Martin is hot. He is hot.
Now, if I'm a K-State player, I'm not going over there.
He exudes a lot of emotion, the head coach of Kansas State does.
We showed you them smiling right there, and he actually is a very personable, pleasant guy, but he is an intense competitor. And even though his team has been in control of this game almost from the outset, he wants them to execute properly. Now, this is this last time out. He knows that he's on the short end of a big run by North Texas, and they've tightened up the game a little bit. It's still 16, but he wants his team to execute properly.
While Pullen was out, Kansas State was outscored 17-10. It's Kelly. That's some of the dominance of Curtis Kelly with a nice feed on the wing. Pullen has his 2nd assist today. Spencer a screen.
And I'm watching Pullen. He seems to be moving around just fine.
Yep, which is good news if you're a K-State fan.
Particularly with what you've got coming up on Saturday.
Oh, and a sweet rejection inside by Kelly. Here is Sutton the other way, up high, and down hard. By the way, Kelly finishing that at the single-season Kansas State shot clock record.
Wow.
Woof. And Thompson, he's been a scoring machine. And the intensity of the team. This is a gritty Kansas State team. They will fight you much like their coach will. Every ounce. And when they got a little bit soft there and allowed North Texas to get back in a little bit in this contest, they tightened the screws.
Well, you know, they went to that zone defense, and sometimes guys who are used to playing man-to-man, when they go into zone, they don't play quite so hard. But that blocked shot, and then they get out running. That's the way to get your juices flowing.
This was a terrific Kansas State team, too, on the road. In Big 12 play, they were 6-2. Kansas State was their first winning road record in the Big 12. Going back to the 87-88 season when it was known as the Big 8. Clemente at the line, and we can tell you about these kids. The numbers speak for themselves, and this is what has driven this ball club throughout a great portion of this year.
We talked about them before the game, and they certainly have not disappointed. The ability to shoot the ball, very impressive.
Well, since Pullen has been put back in this game after the injuries, you see the freshman Nick Russell out of Duncanville, Texas, come back in the game. They make a switch. Since Pullen has come back in, an 8-0 run by Kansas State on the heels of a 15-3 run by North Texas.
And a big round of applause for Denny Clemente. He's just been outstanding today. There's an offensive foul against Trammell.
And they tell us he's the heart of the team. He is the soul of this ball club, an extension of their coach on the floor.
And he's been all that and more today.
He's been terrific. A fifth foul goes on Trammell. Pullen's got 15. Clemente's got 17. And a big-time flush there by Sutton. And that Marquette-Washington matchup looked pretty good out west.
A couple of good matchups.
Russell. Thompson is on him. Here is Dominique Sutton from Durham, North Carolina. Prep school in North Carolina. 3.5 to play. BYU has been watching this game intently. It'll be the matchup come Saturday here in Oklahoma City. It was a deflection inside, and I think it was a Dufour who got a hand on it, and ricochets out of bounds. That will be a beauty.
Yeah, I think so. BYU, as we saw, really likes to get up and down, and Kansas State, they don't mind getting up and down either. Really good guard matchups.
I got to tell you, to see Pullen out there still playing in a game like this, that's got to give Frank Martin a lot of comfort after that wicked fall he took earlier in the game. And Thompson lost it, pops up a three and puts in another. He has been terrific, and Thompson has put in 26, including 4 triples.
Yeah, he is the one guy who's really been impressive on the offensive end for the Mean Green.
Of course, that three-point line is the great equalizer in college basketball. Kelly, he has been flexing his muscles in the second half. He's got 15. He's got 10 of his 15 in the second half for K-State.
Well, he played very little in the first half because of some foul problems.
True.
And he's just sort of working out the kinks here in the NCAA tournament in the second half and has looked good doing it.
Dufour with the left hand.
See, that was a close shot, but once again, that wasn't an easy shot. He had to get that. I don't know how he got that past all those arms in there.
I don't either. And he's got the double-double. That's what he averages. Like I said before, one of just a couple handfuls of players that average the double-double. 15s on the season for him.
Now, we've talked about Kansas State and their ability to move the ball quickly, and they've done a nice job finding open guys. But open guys, you know, that just doesn't happen by accident. The big guys are doing a nice job. Pullen comes out of the game, gets a great hand. This is what we're talking about. We get a screen right here, and then he's going to dive to the basket, and the guards find him. And this is, Kelly goes to the basket. They find him. When the big guy inside catches the ball, then the guard is really, you know, he likes to throw him the ball. So get yourself open, catch the ball, and you can get great opportunities.
Victor Ozole has come in for Kansas State. Pullen has now been in double figures in all 34 games for the Wildcats. He leaves today with 15 points, 3 assists, no turnovers.
He can score in so many different ways.
Russell, and this is an outside shot by Magruder. And pulled down right there by Jacob Holman, a freshman.
Holman's a good-looking freshman. He played some in the first half.
He's one of the best defensive high school players in the state of Texas, and chose this school in Denton. 1:21 to play. Kansas State zeroing in on another win. They're 27th in what has been a record-breaking season. I mentioned Bob Huggins before. Frank Martin came in with him, and the intensity still there, even with the lead of 79 to 60. They've had a significant double-digit lead most of the game, rising as high as 26 over the Mean Green of North Texas.
Frank Martin very passionate, and no matter what the lead is, whether it's 9 points or 19, he wants his guys to do things properly. And sometimes as a coach, the only way you can get your guys to do it that way is to insist on it, and he's been insisting most of the game.
Well, look at the freshmen he's got out there right now, including Henriquez Roberts, who just checks in. Thompson missing the 3. Russell competing with the ball. Another freshman is in there right there. You see Irving. Magruder is a freshman. He is defending on the perimeter. Russell watching Thompson take it inside, and Russell is a freshman.
Kevin, and while you're talking about the youth for K-State, you mentioned that while this is a veteran team for North Texas, everybody except Trammell is coming back. So the future looks very bright for Johnny Jones and his program.
It's a nice point. Henriquez Roberts, who's seen a lot of minutes this afternoon.
You know, they were, North Texas was in the NCAA tournament in 2007. They're back now.
Russell puts in a three from outside. Another three for Kansas State. They have doused 7 of them. But only +6 in that category today. And here's a runner by Thompson, which won't go. And 23 seconds to play in this contest. And Kansas State officially advances, and that will be a beauty on Saturday. European style that the very experienced and older BYU team plays, with one of the most unique players in all of college basketball in Jimmer Fredette. You're going to hear a lot of that name coming up if you're in the state of Kansas. This is a kid you got to prod against. 11 Wildcats scored. Freshman seeing a lot of time. K-State wins by 20 to New York and Greg Gumbel.